Sorry for butchering the language.
All the Dutch people, they just left now.
Maybe they will make fun, yes, but they do understand. It's the effort that counts, and
That's true.
the accent will always be there. But the accent carries the story of my life,
Oh,
and I
that's
think
so
that's
true.
that's
I
very
love that.
right.
Hey everyone, my name is Isabella. For those who didn't watch the first season, I'm international student living in the Netherlands.
I'm also an international student living in the Netherlands, and I've been here for a little over 2 years now, or almost years. Don't remember. My name is Alisa. Yeah, I forgot to say that.
And
welcome to Brewing Student Cultures podcast.
Brewing Student Cultures podcast.
Sipping coffee.
Spilling tea.
And sharing cultures. We're here with our guest, Alisa. Would you like to present yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Alisa with an I.
We have two Alisas today,
yes,
guys.
you can make a wish in between us.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's like a thing we do in Ukraine. When you're between the people with the same name, you make a wish.
I would do one.
Oh my god.
Well, surprisingly, I'm also a student in the Netherlands. I come from Ukraine. I've been here for almost 5 years. That's a long time. So I live in Rotterdam. It's quite a small city in my head, but for the Netherlands, it's a megapolis. What do you guys want to know?
Nice.
Amazing.
Thank you for being here,
Yeah,
first of all.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, she came all the way from Rotterdam.
We just found out that it's a 3-hour ride, so.
Yeah, guys, so let's do it. I'm excited. Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to talk about something that international students talk a lot,
Yes.
and they hear a lot, and yeah, it is a big topic. And the statement of today's episode is, I will never learn Dutch. What do you girls have to say about it? Do you agree? Have you ever heard this? Did someone around you always saying those type of things?
Yeah, I think I hear that a lot. I don't know about you guys.
I do.
Yes. Like a lot. I think most of of my classmates actually don't want to learn Dutch. I think, of course, some of them are very much thinking that they aren't going to stay here for that long, but some people with that plan to stay here on the long term still do not want to learn Dutch. I've heard bad things. I don't agree with that, but I've heard that Dutch is not a pretty language. It's not a useful language to learn. Yeah, I know. What are your thoughts?
True. Yeah.
I think that's a big mistake not to learn Dutch. I used to think that too, not gonna lie. But my original plan was to leave after I graduate my bachelor's, which would have been 3 years. And then I was supposed to go back to Ukraine, but as you could have guessed, that didn't happen. So I stayed, and at this point of my life, I don't know if I will ever leave the Netherlands, if I will ever go back to Ukraine or somewhere else. So a few years ago, I decided that I might try to learn Dutch because I was just interested in the language in general. And I do think that even having a little bit of knowledge will help you a lot to navigate around.
True.
Even if in this country where everybody speaks English, and if you think about it, you don't actually need to know the language. Yes, but it does give you a lot of benefits and a lot of opportunities, I would say, when you do speak the language, because that makes you stand out of all the other immigrants, right? That don't want to learn the language. So
which is a big part.
Yeah, which is, I would say, the biggest part.
Yeah, that's true.
I always feel, I don't know if everyone has that or if maybe it's just me, when I'm at a store and then I always was like, do you speak English? I feel so bad. And I don't know why, but I know I should learn the language, and it's something that I have in my list, my to-do list. But it's also something I face, and I think a lot of people face as well, is when you come to a vendor or someone at a store and then you start speaking Dutch and they immediately switch to English. I think that's something very common.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but in my experience, every time I come to someone at a store and I say oh, I really want to try to say this in Dutch, and then I say it and everyone's so encouraging and they go yes, so that's super nice.
Yeah, it is. That's true. But I think it's a big step of you actually okay, today I'm gonna speak Dutch.
Yeah.
Because guys, it's so hard, like the sound for me, because it's very
We don't have
different.
those sounds.
Yeah, it's very different from my mother language. The sounds are very different, so it's actually putting yourself out of your comfort zone so you can, okay, I'm gonna try, do my
That's true.
best, which is exactly what we have to do so we can actually learn, but it's a little complicated, and I think that's why some people don't, they just don't want to learn. They're like, it's too hard, I'm never gonna do it. But at the end of the day, guys, it's so beneficial. Like, so many opportunities in life. I wish I knew Dutch. That would have helped me so much, or like, give me some more opportunities that I unfortunately cannot because I don't speak the language.
That's
But
true.
I'm also surrounded by people that don't want to learn Dutch.
But what you said about the sounds, if you think about it, we can put it as if it's an accent that you have when you speak Dutch. Of course, it's a difficult language. It's a very difficult sound structure, I guess. But if you think about it in the way, there's so many accents in English. Imagine if people would say, oh, I don't want to learn English because I can never speak like a British person. We don't speak like British people. We don't even, like, I personally don't even sound like an American. But you understand me, right? And I understand you. And it's the same with the Dutch. Like, of course, when I speak my little Dutch, it does not sound at all like the native. It's not even close. But a lot of people do understand me. Maybe they will make fun, yes. Maybe they will re-ask like some words or sentences. But they do understand, you know, it's the effort that counts. And
That's true.
the accent will always be there. But I heard this recently. Unfortunately, don't remember the name of the person who said that. But the accent carries the story of my life.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
so
that's,
true.
God,
that's
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember who said that, but I think that's a very, very good point.
If you
so
know, you can
true.
just comment. If it's you, you can also comment. We're gonna give you the credit.
I'll find the person. I will send you the name. So
We'll
you can
find
put it
you.
in. Yeah, we'll find you.
But that's so true because actually, like, an accent doesn't say how well you speak the language. You can have like a super
definitely.
extensive vocabulary, and if people still like, as long as not mispronouncing a word, you're still like able to communicate. I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I also heard that it's impossible, like almost impossible, I would say, to speak Dutch without an accent. If you're, I don't know, because also if you think about their dialect, because they also have, right? If you're from the
1,000 of
north, I
dialects.
think for us it's easier to speak the Dutch from the north, and then or maybe from the south, because then we can do the Brit, like the G without the. Sorry for butchering the language.
All the Dutch people, they just left now.
Yeah, but you know what? In the beginning, I'm gonna be honest. When I arrived here, I didn't think Dutch was a nice language, not a nice language. I didn't think like, oh my God, it's a beautiful language. I have that with French. When I hear French, I go like, wow, I want to learn this language. But after a while here, I love it. Like if I could like
just got
sleep
used to
listening
it.
to Dutch, yes, and I love it now. It sounds pretty to me.
Yeah, some words are so cute.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
they're literally nice to say, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. But yeah, I also had this when I came. I think what changed my mind was when I started working, because then I was like, I had a lot of interactions with Dutch people and like networking or whatever I was doing, and I wanted to feel part of that group, and what was missing for me was the Dutch. I mean, it is still, but
We're getting there.
Yeah, like listening, of course, it helps a lot because then you can understand, and even if you cannot answer directly to the conversation, you know what's going on, and you can somehow be present. So yeah, I think this was a very like key point for me. Started working, and also I might stay in the Netherlands after my bachelor, after my master, after whatever. And I need to think about my career, the opportunities, everything. All the doors are gonna open for me as soon as I have some Dutch skills. So I think that's very, very important if you want to stay in the Netherlands, if you want to work in the Netherlands, or just if you want to build your family, I don't know, just learn some Dutch. It will for sure be extra beneficial for you.
But Alisa, what changed for you? Sorry, what changed for you? What made you want to learn Dutch? Because you said before you should think otherwise.
Yeah, I never really wanted to learn it because I never really saw myself staying here. And I'm just also not very good with languages, so I don't have the hobby of just learning random languages just because it's pain for me. It's a very big struggle. But at some point I was just like, okay, let's see, because I used to live with a girl who was learning Dutch, and I was like, okay, that's motivated me. And it was COVID, I had nothing to do anyway, so I was like, okay, let's try. So I learned it for almost a year. I had a private tutor. We had lessons once a week. It was very chill, nothing like rushed. Then I decided to do the integration exams because I wanted to have some purpose. Like I wanted to have a goal that, okay, I need to learn because I want to pass this exam.
Oh, that's really smart.
That was really helpful. Also because these exams, at least back in the day, they were only A2 level, so it's very easy. And the exam itself it doesn't necessarily test the level of language. It's not IELTS where you need to, use all the fancy words and be very extra. It's enough if you can answer the question. So if they ask you, what did you eat for breakfast? You say, I ate eggs. That's it. That's enough. You answered the question.
Yeah, even if you didn't have eggs.
I mean, they will not check. They will not fact check.
I'm vegan.
No, but that's the thing. Like, you don't have to write an essay. You can write one sentence. You answer the question. You get your points. So if you think about it, the integration exams are not that hard. At least they weren't. Now I know that they're rising the level, so it's going to be a bit harder. But that's kind of it. So I wanted to do that, and I've been learning since like October till June. I had my lessons, and then in July I did my exams. I passed everything from the first try, besides the society exam, the knowledge of society. In my defense, I was not preparing myself. I thought, I live here, I know everything. No.
What was that? Like,
it's a pain. The exam on the knowledge of society, it is basically about everything, how the Dutch society works, how all the structure work, how you are supposed to interact with people, who you have to call if something happens. So it's those kind of things. I thought I knew them, but the thing about this exam is there are a lot of very, very specific things. Also, for example, about pension, about elderly, about having kids, so that kind of stuff that I never encountered. So of course I didn't know what to do about it,
my own country.
It's actually very funny because I talked to so many Dutch people and I asked them about, okay, what would you do in this situation? They never gave me correct answers. I don't know who this book is for, but it was
for a lawyer.
Very specific.
Yeah, but there's like a book that you just have to read and memorize all of the stuff that is in the book. It starts with very basic things like all the provinces in the Netherlands, the biggest cities, what is Randstad, that kind of stuff. And it ends with much more deeper stuff, let's say, again, like how to have kids, what to do on your pension, what to do if you want to sell your house, so that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Even if you don't want to integrate and like get a permit or a passport, it's still very nice to just read this book to know what's happening in this country, because it explained a lot of things to me as well. So I would recommend doing that. But the book is in Dutch, so
it is.
Wow.
I read one book in Dutch. Yes.
You read a book in Dutch. I am very
one little book, but I read one book in Dutch.
But you should feel proud of it.
I am very proud of it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was like 3 years ago, but
put it in your resume. No, really, because I honestly think it's very respectful to learn about those things. I suck at geography. I suck at it. And then people say, like, that's why I didn't know how far Rotterdam was, because I was like, oh, not that far, right? But everyone's like, oh, because it's a little close to Eindhoven. And I go like, so...
No, Eindhoven is closer to here, I think.
I have no idea. They say, oh, in the north. I was like, Is it where the islands are? And those things. I just know where the neighboring countries are. That's it for me. Also because we're very close to Germany.
Yeah, true. True. But it's very respectful.
Yeah, and I think like I feel so embarrassed about this. I would change this about me because like we live here, right? We have to know those things.
Chose to live here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. We chose to live here. So that's why I think it's super nice. Also, setting a goal for yourself is such a nice tip.
It is
something to aim for.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Also, not to overestimate the goal, I think, because there's also another exam called NT2, and it's more complicated. It's for like B2 level or something. So you won't be able probably, I mean, of course depends, but for me, I won't be able to do it in 1 year. So if I just started learning from very, very basic things and then do NT2 by the end of the year, no.
That's a lot.
But I knew that the integration exams were more or less easy and that I would have a chance to do them. So of course it gives you motivation, you know, when you think that I want to do this exam and you try and it happens, you're like, okay, let's go, you know. So I did stop learning after that though, not gonna lie, because my school started my 3rd year and it was just so much stuff. No, I didn't have time for it.
That's fair.
But funny enough, when I finished my uni, when I graduated from my bachelor, I started to look for a job. And that's when I understood that I had to learn Dutch there in the past
You
year.
saw?
Yeah, because,
I
you know,
said it.
especially because my bachelor's is in communication. And to communicate in this country, you need to speak the language.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah. I thought I wouldn't need it, but I was wrong, very wrong. It took me quite a lot of time to find a job, because most of positions that I was looking at, they were either requiring to have like 10 years of experience, which is half of my life, or at least not native, but at least fluent language of Dutch, level of Dutch, which I also didn't have. So that motivated me to start learning again. I tried to go to like proper classes, but for some reason, it didn't work out. So all I started doing was Duolingo, which actually is very good.
Yes.
Because for me, in my case, again, because I already had some basic knowledge on grammar and some words and how the sentences are structured, all of that, learning Duolingo just gave me a lot more vocabulary.
Yes.
And a lot of repetition, because you do the same thing and again and
Over
again and
and over
again.
and over. Yeah.
Yeah, so you remember things pretty fastly, because I'm not the person to sit down and learn the words. I cannot do that. I need to do exercises. I need to know to train my brain muscles as if I'm training my legs. Like, it's the repetition. It's constantly like doing those exercises, stimulating your brain, you know. So Duolingo is very good with that if you already have some basics. If you don't, if you start Duolingo from scratch, it's going to be, of course, a lot harder, because you need to figure out all the rules on your own. But if you just want to expand your vocabulary or practice what you already know, I think Duolingo is perfect. So I would recommend doing that. So yeah, I started to do that. Can't say that my language was growing like crazy, but it was going somewhere. And then I found this thing called Pata Academy, and I really liked the program that they proposed. So I decided to apply, and all I had to do was to apply with my CV and the recommendation letter, and I did that. And then I get a call from them asking to come for an interview. And I was like, oh, that's so nice, thank you so much. And then the guy tells me, you do know the program is in Dutch, right? And I'm like, no.
Oh, yes, of course I know.
I
What
did
are you
not know
saying?
that. I did not know that, because their website was in English, their Instagram was in English, at least all the visuals were in English. So I thought, English. Also, Pata, you know, is an international brand, it's very big. So I thought, you know, English. And then he tells me, oh, it's in Dutch. And I was like, wow. All right. But I told them, okay, let's give it a try. So I went for the interview.
I can promise you that most people would have said, okay, bye.
Yeah, honestly, I was very close, but I had a goal. I really wanted to be a part of this academy. So I was like, I will do all my best to get into there. If they say no, they say no, but at least I'm not gonna refuse, you know? I need to say yes.
Yeah.
So I went for the interview. I was very stressed, because it was 3 people and me. And they told me, okay, let's test your level of Dutch. We're gonna speak Dutch to you. You can reply in English, but we'll see how much you understand. I was like, okay, I need to convince people that I understand Dutch. Let's go. So I did tell them my beautiful story. I was very excited also to tell this, because, you know, I was very motivated to be a part of this academy. And the thing is that all of these 3 people, they're also first, second, third generation of Dutch.
Nice.
So they were already born here, raised here, but their parents or grandparents come from other countries. So they kind of understood my situation in a sense. They were saying, it's not great that you don't speak Dutch fluently, but at the same time, you need to learn because our parents were in the same situation. They came to this country, they had to learn from scratch, and they needed people to help them do it. So we will help you. And eventually, I did get an invite to join the academy.
Amazing.
That's so nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was so happy. It was a bit messy because it was the first 2 weeks. It was intense course every day, 7 hours
In
of Dutch. Not of Dutch. I wasn't learning the language. I was learning other things in the language.
My God.
My brain was fried. By the end of every day, I was dead.
Oh yeah.
You have to
I
put like
was
100% attention in everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Oh my God.
exactly. It was very hard to focus because, if you zone out for a second, you lost it.
Everything.
Oh.
You lost it. And I was the only one non-Dutch speaker. So it was also very fun.
So
God,
brave.
socially
No,
also.
for
It's,
real.
Yeah, but the thing about this academy is that everyone else is also first, second generation Dutch. And they also can understand a little bit the situation I'm in. It's just that I'm not Dutch. But let's say if I have a family and I have kids here, they will be the first generation
Yeah.
Dutch.
yeah.
But that's another thing. Anyways, it was very hard. The first 2 weeks, I was going crazy. But it was also very fun because I met a lot of nice people. We had a lot of workshops from very big companies. As much as hard it was to focus, I was really trying. And I learned a lot during those 2 weeks. And then we had a break for a month. And then we started again in September. And I actually just graduated from the academy 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's such an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Full Dutch?
Full Dutch, yeah.
Wow.
Still can't speak.
Amazing.
I can understand now very well.
No, of course you're listening. It's like
Yeah, my listening improved like insane.
That's
Also
great.
reading, writing, I didn't practice, but speaking, I was so shy. I couldn't. I was like, guys, I really want to practice, but I could say like maybe 5 words a day. And I had this girl in the academy who was so supportive. Every time I would say like 1 word in Dutch, she was like, yes, you go, girl. Applauding to me, So I was
that's
"Thank
like
you,
a
baby."
big difference.
Like, yeah, a
Oh.
cheerleader makes
She
a
was,
whole
she was a
difference.
big cheerleader. Thank you, Irvana, if you're watching this. But it was very cute, yes. And my listening improved a lot. Now people in my class cannot gossip in Dutch about me because I understand. So yeah.
That's so nice.
But about the academy, I just wanted to tell about it a bit more because a lot of people don't know about this thing. But we had workshops throughout the year, twice a month on Saturdays. So it was also a big challenge. It was in Amsterdam. So every other Saturday I would wake up at 6 to go to Amsterdam for the academy. But it was, again, I don't regret it. It was amazing. It was very fun, very insightful. Again, lots of people. Connections that I made throughout this year, it literally changed my life. Like not to what's the word? Not to exaggerate. Not to exaggerate, but it really changed my life, yes. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't speak at least a little bit of Dutch to get into the academy at the first place.
Or if you open yourself to that experience, because it's such a challenge, I would say.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I think if you it's crazy the fact that you went to, I don't want to learn Dutch. I'm not staying here, to doing a full academy in Dutch and actually putting yourself into that situation. So that's really nice.
It's not only the content that you learn. You learned content. You also learned stuff in Dutch, and you socialize with Dutchies, right? That's
extra important.
maybe everybody should do that. Okay.
They don't take everyone though.
Yeah.
They're quite selective,
I can imagine.
Not to brag.
No, but 3 people with only to test you, right?
Yes.
That's
In the
already
interview.
very intimidating.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's such a nice experience.
But that's so nice. Like I think people, when they realize that they actually need to learn Dutch and they put themselves to those situations, they are like extra proud of themselves, as they should, and they are like, why did it take so long for me to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's just a big change of environment, like you being able to socialize with university friends, with work colleagues, or like at the supermarket, like Saturday markets, I want to buy tulips, like I can do that in Dutch. Like how nice it is, how part of the culture am I right now that I can do those things. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's like putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. So
It's a big accomplishment.
yeah, it is, especially since we're here. I think it's nice to do that.
We need to do it.
And I think Dutch people are really appreciative. Like if you come and speak or say something, sometimes they say random things like, "Do you want a coffee?" in Dutch, and then they go like, "Oh my God, you said it in Dutch!" Or sometimes they go like, "What did you say?" But the second time is always the charm, I would say. But it's opening yourself to those experiences. So
It's actually very funny because I live in Rotterdam, right? It is quite an international city, but it's still a lot of Dutch people, and it's still a lot of let's say events in Dutch. And me and my friends, we say that Rotterdam is Amsterdam for Dutchies, because Amsterdam at this point it's just so international.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have a friend, Dutch friend, who lives in Amsterdam, and she also told me at some point that she lives in her country, in the capital of her country, and she does not speak her language in the city. Because wherever she goes, cinema,
English.
any kind of cafes, restaurants, shopping, everything is in English. She doesn't mind. She's like, I'm fine speaking English.
Yeah.
I really don't care. She has a lot of international friends who she loves. But at the same time, she's like, think about it.
yeah,
I live in my own country and I don't speak my own language in here.
that's so true.
So that's also another thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Because, imagine trying to put yourself in an environment. Let's say you're an international, you want to try to practice your Dutch, and then you don't have anyone to practice it with because it's only internationals around you. So for me, living in Rotterdam, that's a bit easier because Dutchies are still there. But in Amsterdam, it's actually quite hard to appear in the community where people actually speak Dutch because everything is international. Which, I start to understand the hate that a lot of people have towards international, because internationals don't appreciate, let's say, the language that built this country. We want to live here, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a great country that gives a lot of opportunities and stuff. But it was built by people who spoke this language, and we refuse to do that. Even through respect to them, I think we should. Again, it's not about becoming native, because it is, of course, a very hard language, especially if your native is different structure-wise. But it is still very important to do that, or at least try. Because again, as you also noticed, they are very supportive if you try from good intentions, not in sense of mocking, because nobody wants to have their language mocked.
Yeah.
It's not fun. But when people sincerely try to be proactive and try to speak their language, they're usually very supportive and very appreciative.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you have any advice for people that want to start learning, or like they are in the beginning of the Dutch journey, they want to integrate, they want to even if they live in Amsterdam?
Well, I don't live in Amsterdam, so I really can't say. But it depends, of course, on how you learn the language. Because for some people, it's easier to throw themselves into an environment and just be like a child, just listen and pick up words, pick up sentences. For some people, it's easier if they listen to podcasts, for example, or watch movies with subtitles, or like read books when they're exposed to content. That's also great. For me personally, I need explanation. I'm stupid. I need a person to tell me what to do. I really need this guidance. I can't figure it out on my own. No, I need like this.
A teacher.
I need a teacher. So for me, what really helped is I had a great, very fun lady. She was a Ukrainian who's been living here for forever.
Amazing. That's so
And
nice.
she speaks quite good Dutch. She doesn't speak English though, which was very funny because she was so surprised that I speak English and I study in English and everything. And it's like, you speak Dutch. Like, it's the same thing, just a different language. And she was always so surprised. She was always like, wow, you do the whole university in English. And I'm like, girl, you work in Dutch. Like, it's as much surprising to me as my English is to you, But yeah, she was very helpful, but also very chill, and she made me speak, which is actually very important. She was just, I do not understand any other language, speak Dutch. And I had to do it. It was bad. It was very bad.
But we have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Everybody starts somewhere. So I had to force myself. But again, my accent is very accenting. Like my Ukrainian accent, you can hear it very much. But it was still fun, good to practice. So I did that. She explained the basics to me, how the grammar works mainly. And then I only did Duolingo, which again expanded my vocabulary. And I try to speak whenever I go out, like whether it's going to be shopping or cafes or something like that. I am trying to find a friend who's going to speak Dutch to me, but it's hard because I just feel really shy. And I know that a lot of people have that too. I had that with English as well, especially when I moved here. I was like, okay, English. Okay. But I did not have a choice. So I started speaking. But in my defense, my English only became a lot better last year. Before that, it was still very bad.
Your English is amazing.
Yeah, but it's only been like this for like the past year, I would say. Before that, I still found it very hard to speak. I was very shy. I was mainly talking to Ukrainian speaking friends. But now I feel a lot more confident, and it took me forever. I've been learning English since I was like 3 years old. So when I think about it, I'm like, okay, how many years do I need to understand Dutch now?
No, but I think there's a barrier, right? After you break it, then you can speak fluently. I think. I have a story. I went to a restaurant these days, and I was like, I've been ordering stuff for a long time at restaurants, and it's always the same thing, like mag ik een koffie alsjeblieft, always those things, right? And then I was like super confident. I was in a table full of Dutchies, and they said, can I have water in Dutch? I said it, and I was like, okay. So the waiter comes, gives everyone their drinks, and I was like, where's my water? And then he gives me a Fanta. And I was like, who ordered Fanta? I didn't. But apparently, he heard Fanta, not water. And then the Dutchies at the table were like, well, you ordered Fanta. And I was like, oh, I'll never say that word again. I'll never order water again. Maybe I should say like, mag ik een water? Maybe that's weird. Yeah, I was so embarrassed, but it was also, I think it's also like rejection therapy in a way. Because I think after you break that barrier, I didn't break it yet, but at some point I will. And it's like you said, you know, you just put yourself in those situations. And also, I was gonna ask, I don't know if you mind talking about this. Like, how did you come in contact with that person, your teacher?
Yeah, true.
She was recommended to me by another girl. That was very easy. I think because again, in my specific case, for me, it's easier to learn a new language through my native language. So it's good that she was also Ukrainian, so she could explain it to me in the way I would understand. Also, I studied in a Ukrainian school, so I'm used to the way our teachers teach, basically, because in every country it's very different. And but it depends. Like if for you it can be easier to learn it through English because the languages are very similar. If you think about that, a lot of words are similar, a lot of structures are similar. That can be easier. Or if you think Portuguese, learning through Portuguese would be easier for you, then do that, you know. I believe now also a lot of universities have language courses where you can go and like language exchange that are usually a lot cheaper because private tutoring, of course, is a lot more expensive. Like the one that I had was not that costly, but usually it is still more. There's also a lot of courses in Dutch. I have never been to those. I don't know how they teach. I assume that they do it through English, or they might just also throw you in an environment and just only Dutch from day one, and you just need to figure it out. I believe that also exists.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I also heard about this course. I believe I don't know where it is actually physically, but it's like a week of intense learning. And you live like in a camp. Like,
oh my God.
No. No. Like, imagine a summer camp, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you ever been to those. Like, there were kind of programs in the US and in Britain when you go and you just live with other people and you like learn English and you have activities and stuff. So it's very similar to that, but in Dutch. And you just live there, and you only are allowed to speak Dutch, and they really actually control that, you know, in a sense, like they really go there and like they talk to you, and like you have to, you know, all the time you need to speak Dutch, like you are required to do that, which can be a bit intense. But I heard that it's the most effective course that exists, at least in the Netherlands. It is very expensive. From what I checked, it's like maybe 1,500 euros or something like for a week.
That's
But as far as I know, that also includes like accommodation and food and stuff. So if you
Okay.
think about it, it's not that bad.
And you end up learning the language, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know
How well?
how fast, like what is their thing, if it's like a level per week or if it's like from 0 to 100 for a week, I don't know. But I think I saw it on TikTok from one of the girls who was doing it. She posted about it. Seemed pretty nice, I should say. I was looking into it. Yeah, I was like, maybe I should do it
I
in
also
summer.
want to
so-
look for it now.
Oh my
That sounds-
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Like if you're a student, you're coming to the Netherlands, you're afraid of speaking Dutch, just know that they're very supportive.
Yeah, that's true.
If they don't understand you, like just keep trying and ask them for help. They're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna learn my language. That's so nice.
Yeah.
So that's something. Also, I really like your advice of finding teachers like with your mother language.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really nice because we live in such international country. You can find people from everywhere, and if they can speak, your language
Yeah.
and Dutch, you go, girl. Like that's the key. So that's really nice. And Duolingo. We posted a video recently on
Yeah.
our socials about it.
I think that, you know what, in the beginning, Duolingo is very much like, ik ben een appel, ik ben een appel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like that. But
Yeah.
then if you go further, if you actually put your time and effort into it and advance in the leagues, then you can actually, like, you learn a lot. I'm currently learning time. Dutch time is very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because it said the sentence in English and it was kind of like, it is 6:20. And I was like, okay.
10 minutes before half.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
10
god! It
minutes
took me
before.
the words that were the options for me. I was like,
Yeah.
it's impossible. Duolingo fail report problem. But no, I was like, wow, and it's actually complicated, but it's so nice you have that option there.
It is. It is
Yeah.
free. You can do like 5 minutes. You can do 3 minutes a day, literally, like everywhere, because you just have your phone, and like it is very funny as well, because of course, like, ik ben een appel. It's
Yeah, also
everybody
the
knows about it.
Sein
Zone.
Yeah, that was a very interesting.
But at the end, you're learning the structure of the phrases, how to do sentences, vocabulary, like questions. Of course, I don't want to know if the horse is drinking apple juice, but I am learning how to ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really nice. I think it is a great advice for people. It's just go, and you can choose like if you want to learn from your mother tongue to that, or English to Dutch. So that's really nice. That's a big advice, I would say.
I once met a girl in my minor. I did it in Leiden, and there was this girl who, I believe she was American, but I thought she was half American, half Dutch, because she would only speak Dutch to our Dutch classmates. And I assumed that she was either raised in the Netherlands or one of her parents is Dutch. And then at some point I was talking to her and she was like, no, I've been living here for 3 years and I did Duolingo, like the whole thing. And that's how I learned it. Like that's the only thing I did. I just learned Duolingo. And I was so surprised because she's American, English is her native language. A lot of people whose native language is English, they struggle a lot with learning another language. But she was like, just learn Duolingo.
Easy.
Amazing.
That's it. And she spoke so well, like I could never understand that she was not native Dutch. I was so surprised.
That's
You see,
crazy.
guys, you can do it. You can do
You can
it.
definitely do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Go Duolingo, yes.
Yeah, go Duolingo. You can do it.
That's
Amazing.
so nice.
Yes. Well, so to sum up what we talked about how Dutch is not as a scary monster as you think it is. Everyone
true.
can do it. Duolingo can help you. Like Isa said, and like you said, is also about finding setting a proper goal, and also maybe learning from your mother language or finding strategies for yourself, and not being scared to do it.
True.
Yes, and opening your mind, like the experience you had at the
Pata Academy, yes.
Academy, amazing. And it's all about it was probably very scary to do that,
Not gonna lie, yes.
but it's so I imagine super rewarding to do it. So yes,
Put yourself out there, learn some Dutch, integrate with the Dutchies.
They're great.
They
They
are.
Then they become even better when you speak their language.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
They are.
That is
They
good advice.
are. We had an episode about this the last season. You can check out. I'm gonna let in the bio, but the way you see the word, it's gonna change because you're gonna understand how they see things, the way they see things, the way they express themselves. So
That's
learn
true.
Dutch.
And like you said, also put yourself like in third person. Like get yourself out of the equation and think about what it would feel like for you in your country, like you said, to have people come and not even make an effort to be part of the culture of the to learn the language. So this is also something that I could agree completely.
Another good point that I wanted to mention is that a lot of people would say, yeah, but I don't plan to live here, whatever. But it's actually very funny because Dutch people are everywhere. And wherever you go, you are very likely to have like a Dutch manager or a Dutch boss or a Dutch someone very important in your life. And trust me, if you speak Dutch to them, you will be their favorite. Because outside of the Netherlands, finding like, let's say you move abroad as a Dutch person, finding Dutch friends outside of the Netherlands can be hard.
Yeah.
But if you do, like
Big win, guys.
Big win. So, never say never. You never know where you're going to end up.
True.
So it's good to,
I love that.
another language will never hurt. So
True.
That's true.
What a nice way of ending. That was such nice. Yeah, that's true. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so
thank you for
much,
inviting.
Alisa.
So nice.
I'm gonna put your Instagram in our bio. Of course, go follow Alisa on socials. She's also doing content for the Netherlands, cultural, a lot of hacks and tricks and tips.
And
I'm
funny
always
stuff.
saving stuff from her.
Yeah, like your
So-
skincare routine. I was like, okay, I'm into that now.
Not very a Dutch trick, but still, thank you.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Please, if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for the next episodes. If you have some topics you want us to talk about or guests that you want to see here, just let us know in the comment. And that's it, right?
That's it. If you have tips about learning Dutch or you want to share your experience,
Yeah, let
leave
us
it
know.
in the comments.
Thank you and see you guys next time.
Bye bye. Bye bye.